Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. When a family becomes known as the three wisest men, it usually means they're clever, thoughtful, or maybe even a little mischievous. But in this story, the name comes from something much more heartfelt, because these three brothers managed to pull off one of the sweetest surprises their mom had ever experienced. And it all started with a simple idea. They wanted to remind her just how loved she truly was. For years, their mom had been the kind of person who made every holiday magical, every birthday meaningful, and every ordinary day feel special. She was the type who remembered everyone's favorite dessert, who showed up to every school event, who kept handwritten cards tucked in drawers to celebrate even the smallest wins. She had a way of giving that made the whole house warmer, and the boys grew up knowing they were lucky to have a mom who was an equal parts teacher, cheerleader, and best friend. And even as they grew older, left home, and built their own lives, they never forgot that everything good in them came from her. So one evening, as they texted in their brother's group chat, they began brainstorming ways to make her upcoming milestone birthday unforgettable. Flowers felt too standard. A fancy dinner felt too expected. They wanted something that felt like her, something sentimental, thoughtful, maybe even a little cinematic. And that's when the oldest brother remembered something from their childhood. How their mom used to play old Hallmark movies on weekend mornings, humming along with the soft background music and wiping away tears at the sweetest scenes. Those movies were her comfort, her escape, her little slice of joy. That memory sparked the idea that would become their best surprise yet. What if they didn't just give her a gift? What if they created a moment straight out of the Hallmark stories she adored? The three brothers decided they would serenade her, not just with any song, but with a personalized melody written just for her. They called it The Heart of Our Home, a tribute to the woman who had raised them with warmth, humor, and endless patience. Each brother added something different. One played guitar, one wrote lyrics, and the youngest, who had always been the shy one, volunteered to sing the opening verse. It took days of practice, late-night rehearsals, and more than a few moments of laughter as they remembered how terrible they'd sounded at talent shows growing up. But this time, they weren't performing for a grade or a crowd. They were performing for the one person who had loved them unconditionally since the day they were born. On the morning of her birthday, they told her they'd be stopping by for breakfast. She didn't suspect anything. She was just excited to have all her boys under one roof again. As she set out her favorite mugs and brewed her usual pot of tea, she felt that familiar mix of nostalgia and joy that only family gatherings bring. But when she opened the door to greet them, she noticed something unusual. They weren't holding flowers or balloons. Instead, each son held a small, wrapped box. They asked her to take a seat on the couch, and before she could ask what was going on, the music began. The boxes weren't the real gift. They were part of the moment. The first box contained a framed sheet of handwritten lyrics, the words that told the story of their childhood memories. The second box held a pendant shaped like a small house engraved with the phrase "Home is where Mom is." And the third, the smallest one, contained a simple note that said, "Press play." That's when the oldest brother strummed the first chord, and the living room filled with the soft, steady rhythm of the song they'd created just for her. Her eyes widened. Then they filled with tears. The youngest brother began singing the opening lines, his voice shaking at first but growing steadier with each word. The middle brother harmonized, adding warmth to the melody, while the oldest kept the rhythm steady. The message of the song was simple. She had been their guide, their comfort, their wisdom. She had taught them kindness, strength, and resilience. She had given them everything, and this was their chance to give something back. By the time they reached the chorus, she was already wiping tears from her cheeks, laughing softly at how grown-up her sons suddenly seemed. She had always imagined them as little boys with scraped knees and messy hair, but in that moment she saw them as men, grateful, loving, and deeply devoted. The sweetness of the serenade wasn't just in the music. It was in the intention behind every lyric, every chord, every breath. What made the moment even more touching was the way the brothers looked at her while they sang. Their expressions weren't rehearsed or polished. They were raw, genuine, full of affection. They weren't trying to be performers. They were simply sons trying to honor the woman who had shaped their entire world. And although the song lasted only a few minutes, it created a memory that their mom would cherish for the rest of her life. When the last note faded, there was a stillness in the room, a quiet pause filled with emotion. She stood up, hugged each of them tightly, and told them it was the most beautiful gift she had ever received. Not because it was musical, not because it was surprising, but because it came from their hearts. It reminded her that no matter how far they traveled or how busy life became, they would always carry the love she poured into them. The brothers didn't expect what happened next. After the serenade, their mom walked over to the shelf where she kept her favorite Hallmark movies, picked up one of the oldest DVDs, and held it to her chest. She told them that for years, she had watched those movies imagining moments of tenderness and connection, moments where families found ways to show love without needing a holiday or a reason. And now, thanks to them, she finally had a Hallmark-style moment of her own, one that was real and personal. From that day forward, the serenade became a new family tradition. Every year, the brothers would add a new verse or a new harmony, updating the song with fresh memories and new reasons to celebrate her. What started as a birthday surprise became a ritual, a symbol of how their family stayed connected despite the distance, responsibilities, and changes life inevitably brought. It was a reminder that the sweetest moments are often the simplest ones, the ones created out of love, intention, and the desire to make someone feel seen. And for their mom, the three wisest men would always be her greatest gift, not because they were perfect, but because they cared enough to create something meaningful just for her. In the end, that's what makes this story so touching. It isn't about grand gestures or elaborate plans. It's about three grown sons choosing to slow down, come together, and celebrate the woman who taught them how to love in the first place. A serenade. A song. A moment. The kind of heartfelt memory that feels like it came straight out of a Hallmark scene, but was even better, because it was real. And that's why this sweet tribute from the three wisest men to their Hallmark mom continues to warm hearts everywhere. It's a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful gifts don't come in boxes or bags. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.